Yes, we did. We did. That's another way to think about it. We did. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We printed digitally, and we do that by buying treasury bills. That actually increases the money supply.
Financial Turmoil Explained.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Today is October 10th, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, here's what I want to say. Oftentimes, I'm a little bit ahead of other people out there at spotting something. And I'm going to give you guys a heads up. Now, what I'm going to say next, I'm not absolutely 100% sure about, but I know it's going to happen eventually. But I'm not absolutely sure it started yet, but I think it has. I'm getting little signals from around the internet on my research that something big has just started that's gone unnoticed by all the other channels out there. You're not going to find it. Here's what it is. Roughly out there is $2.1 trillion in liquidity out there in the system of the money supply, US dollars. Now remember that number, 2.1 trillion. And of that 2.1 trillion dollars, roughly 10% of it's in cash form. Now what's been happening over the last few years, and it's been very, very slow and subtle, is because people don't use cash as much, they're doing all their transactions with either a credit card, a debit card, some form of a card, or they got it on their phone. And a lot of people don't carry cash as much as they used to. They've been able to dwindle down that cash supply because it's not needed as much in the system. So there's a limited amount of cash out there. And let's not forget, when you hold that dollar bill up in front of you, it says on there that it's a Federal Reserve note. You don't realize, but that means they have ultimately complete 100% control over that. They've put it out there for you to use, but they've created it as their puppy. They own it. They control it. Now, they just got done creating about over $5 trillion into the system of new fresh liquidity. So there's a lot of the money that exists on the ledger. See, money now is not really money. It's not even Federal Reserve notes, actual notes. All it is a digital ledger. The money in your bank account right now, the bills don't exist for that. That's just a digital ledger. And this digital ledger now has become enormous out there. It's what they call fugazi. It's just digits that they transfer back and forth within the system electronically. It doesn't exist in the real world. But what does exist in the real world is cash. And what I'm telling you guys is there's only 1/10 the amount of cash available for that $2.1 trillion. And that $2.1 trillion is nothing compared to the US debt, which is over $30 trillion. It's only a small fraction. So what I see coming and what I see the evidence of that's starting right now is let's just call them investors, or I don't know what you'd call them, but the ones who are holding all that $5.1 trillion that they on the digital ledger that they created. They can transfer those funds, or those digits on the screen, and they can take up possession of the actual notes that actually exist, that are actually printed. Or nowadays they make them out of polymer. But in the United States, I think they're still paper, most of them. So the paper notes out there, they can use that money, that massive amount of money that's sitting on the sidelines, to transfer that into actual physical notes. And basically suck up all the notes that are left in existence and make them all disappear. And this is a process that If it was done quickly, very, very quickly, extremely quickly, everybody would be in shock because you wouldn't be able to get any actual physical notes. And this is what I think is actually happening. And I'm not, like I say, I'm not absolutely sure, but I think we're going to start to see shortages in things. The first sign that this is happening is shortages in things like those machines, you know, that you go to ATMs, automatic teller machines. Shortages in automatic teller machines. Shortages in the banks of actual physical notes. What I'm basically telling you guys is we could be on the front edge of all those physical notes disappearing very quickly from the system so that you can't get any. And you are forced into using the digital system to transfer and move money around, which most people are used to now anyway. I think they're sucking them all up. But I don't think they're doing it extremely quickly. But I think it's quick enough where I'm the first one to actually notice this and talk about it. And I mean, it's simple for them. I mean, it only represents, what's that, 200 billion. And nowadays, when we're talking in numbers of trillions, 200 billion, and that's all the notes out there, they could suck them all up and there's none left, is to them, when you're talking in trillions, is a small, only a small fraction. And it's perfectly within their right to do so, to suck all those notes up and get rid of them from the market. And then once they're all gone, they don't have to ban cash. They don't have to say, hey, you know, we're banning cash. Just, you ain't gonna get any. You go to your bank and they say, well, we don't have any cash today, sorry. Don't you know there's a cash shortage? You say, well, I want to withdraw my money. And they say, well, you can't withdraw it in cash. You'll have to take and transfer it to a different account or blah, blah, blah to get your money out or spend it. Right? And this is where we're moving. And I think that it started. I'm not absolutely 100% certain, but I'm just getting that gut instinct out there that they're withdrawing all of the paper. And there's going to be shortages very soon of paper notes in the system. And once that happens, there could be a sea change to the paper notes. Once they get really short on supply, maybe looking out 6 months from now or something, when you can't get a hold of any paper notes within the system anymore, they could be started to, it could actually be possible that the black market will start to use paper notes more than anything else. They already do use paper notes, but I mean that the value of the paper note will start to exceed its face value, which is something that hasn't never happened. But if it starts to be used in the black market and there's a shortage of paper notes for illicit transaction use, then of course the face value would become unimportant, and there'd be basically like a premium on paper money, actual physical paper money. In which case, then the government would most likely have to or be forced to say, hey, this is being used for illegal transactions, blah, blah, blah. We have to remove all that's left from the system and burn it. First steps in getting rid of cash. Now, I mean, I could be just blowing hot air on all this, but I think that this is where we're going with this. And I think that's already begun. They're already sucking them out of the system from the underside. You can't see what they're doing. You can't see them sucking them out. But I think they're sucking them out already. Using their digital system, which they can just, at the stroke of a keystroke, that $200 billion worth of paper notes that are still floating around there that you guys use, a lot of you guys still use them, you have them in your wallet, they could be sucking them out from the bottom side. You can't see that. Sucking those notes out using their digital what's-its they can create endless amounts of. It's nothing for them. Anyway, I've talked enough about that. We're going to get into the markets. It's just a gut feeling I have that they've started this. Basically, I said to myself last night, I saw a few things that triggered me thinking that. And one of the things was they said that there's having shortages of notes within the ATM machines and stuff out there. Or people were having trouble withdrawing money from their bank. They go in and ask for like, hey, can I have $5,000? And they're like, what do you want it for? You know, just little clues that a few little clues I've been putting together from things I've been seeing on the internet that says, hey, you know what? And they've probably been doing this for quite a while now, but they're probably intensifying their efforts now to get rid of this. Get rid of it, because they've been in a war against cash for a while now. They've been teaching you guys in the big stores you go to, big box stores and stuff. You go in there and they got all these quick checkouts, okay? And people using their credit cards and stuff. No line or nothing. Bing, 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 they're out. You're out of the store. No problem. But you got cash and that's all you got. You got to go over there to that line over there. Yeah, that big long line over there where they got their oldest and weakest cash register person on there that is feeble, moving about the speed of, well, you ever seen that Bean thing where he's trying to get down the stairs and he's got an old person in front of him and they're driving him crazy because they're moving so slow. So you got this old slow person there at the cash register and they're like, ding, one item. Slowly they put it in the person's bag. Ding, next item. This is on the cash, you know. And you got this big long line up behind them of people shuffling from one foot to the other because they've been standing there for like 45 minutes. That's the line that you're going to go in if you're going to pay cash. Now you look over there longingly at all the people that are running their items through with their credit card. Ding, 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 and they're out. They're gone. So see, they're penalizing you. They've been doing this for a while too, and this also teaching you how to use the card. You know, because you stand there in the line waiting to pay cash after about 45 minutes, and you say, "Oh heck, I'll use my card." So you go over into the card area, right, and you have about 10 people there. They're best store employees. Bing, 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 get you right through. Now that's like rewarding you, see, for using an alternative method of payment. See, I know what they're up to. Anyway, listen, guys. We got silver today. Silver's at $19.69. It's down 43 cents. Can you believe that? You know? But what I've been noticing about it, it's like I've been saying for a while now to you guys, is they don't want to drop the price of this stuff down below the mining production cost because they know what would happen. Their paper game would be absolutely over. If they drop this paper price, and that's all this is, a bunch of paper, they control it, the price, through these derivatives. If they drop that price too low, then there's no incentive for the miners to mine it. The miners would just close their mine up. The miners have a bottom line, is they know that they have to pay these soaring energy costs to get that stuff out of the ground. And so that puts a floor. So I have to laugh at them because that floor in the price is getting up close to $20 now to get an ounce of silver and to get it into coin form. And they're treading the line on this son of a gun, you know? Some of the mines cost about their total all-in cost is about $20 in some of the mines now. Some of them are a bit cheaper. Some of them can still get it out there for $15, you know? But still, there's a bottom line of... And as they approach that bottom line, these mines will just say, hey, that's it. Close down that side of the mine. We can't make any money on that ore over there because it costs us, the return of investment doesn't equal out, you know, and just close it up. And so they know not to do that. And I don't know what exactly. It probably somewhere around $16. They get around $16 and the miners are just going to say, hey, close it down. You know, and so there's a floor, there's a very strong floor under this stuff. Where you don't have that floor when you, well, let's take a look at gold real quick. Gold 1676. Gold has a floor under it too, but you don't have that floor here so much with this cryptos. The Bitcoin you do. You got a mining production cost with Bitcoin. I heard it was around $7,000, but that was before the cost of energies went up. Now, the cost of energy's been going up, so it's probably up around $9,000 by now. I'm just guessing though, per Bitcoin to produce it. So that means that the Bitcoin price could probably fall down. If the Bitcoin, let's just say it this way, guys. If the Bitcoin price was as close to mining production costs as silver is right now, Bitcoin would only be about 11,000 or 10,500 for Bitcoin. So it'd be a very small profit margin for the miners if it was as close to mining production cost as silver. And that's where silver is right now. It's very close to mining production cost. So you're getting an exceptional value right now when you're buying silver, even if you're paying a premium. Even premiums included. If you can get like a $4 or $5 premium, you're getting exceptional value for your money. When you look at everything else out there, which costs are rising like on everything, the cost of silver's been suppressed all this time, down low. It's like it's been on sale because these guys manipulate the price. Anyway, I got to not to get into a rant. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones today. It's marginally up. Now it's down. I figured it probably going to be down today, a couple 100 points. I mean, what's there to get excited about? I mean, the whole thing's just making a head and shoulders and then going to fall off into the abyss. I mean, so what's to get excited about? Until the Fed steps back. But that's coming. At this point, at this stage in the game, the Fed could step back at any time now. You know? And so, value? Well, I think we're going to see 40,000 Dow. You guys are saying, well, what? Yeah. I think we're going to see 40,000 Dow. Because the best performing stock markets are stock markets in countries where inflation gets out of control. And that's where we're headed, ultimately. And, you know, at a certain point, they're just going to throw in the towel. And they're just like the Bank of England already did. They're going to throw in the towel at a certain point. And this thing is going to start to go up again. Just like this bottom we seen here at the start of the COVID crisis, right? Like I told you guys, we're seeing the exact same thing happen. Yeah, it's a little bit slower this time. It's not quite so fast. But it's getting there. And when it gets down to like we're creating the same pattern. See that pattern? Bing, down and up. We're doing the same thing. Bing, down, probably down around here or someplace, you know. And I predicted this months ago, you know, probably down here someplace, and then everything's going to start to, the credit markets are going to start to, and then the Fed's just going to say, oh, we can't, and they're going to switch just like the Bank of England did, and then we're going to be back off to the races again. We're going to go right on by 36,000, and we're going to head right up to 40. And so the people that buy in down here, you know, maybe 25, 26, 27,000, they're going to see reap the exact same rewards that people did when they bought down here, when they got down in this bargain area during the last time. It's just wash, rinse, repeat. You say, well, when? When is when the Fed pivots. And now at this point, I'm telling you guys, the Fed could pivot anytime. We're on it now. It's any time it could happen. From here now from this point forward, like I've been telling you guys all along. Well, I don't know if Fed's not quite ready. Now it could happen anytime. Now that the market's moving down, we're in that Fed pivot area that could come overnight. They could just do it. Crude oil 93.30. See, they're going to pretend, the Fed is going to pretend to be strong right up until they pivot. They're going to be saying, "Oh, we're going to fight inflation. We're raising interest rates next month," and they're giving you a head. What do they call that? When they play with your brain, they play with your head. That's all they're doing. That's all talk. Oh, we're gonna do quantitative tightening and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then the next day they say, oh, well, we couldn't. We just had to give up on all that. Now we're going back to quantitative easing or whatever. And watch these markets turn when that happens, boys. That's going to be the day. You know, oil's 93.30. It's getting up pretty hot again. You know, you can see that price at the pump. Move index today 148.46. Bonds and rates today. We're seeing rising yields again. 3.88 on the 10-year. It's up 6.4 basis points, and the 30-year is up 5.5 basis points at 3.84. U.S. dollar index today is at 113.18. So basically, it looks like if this continues, it's going to get tighter and tighter to get cash. See, they don't have to bang cash. They don't have to say, oh, I've been thinking the wrong way here on this. I've been thinking, hey, they're going to bang cash at some point in the future, and they're going to remove all the bills and everything. All they got to do is just remove the bills and don't even let us know it. They just keep sucking them out. It's simple, you know. And first thing we know, oh, you can't get cash today. Why? Well, there's a cash shortage. Why? Why is there a cash shortage? Well, maybe it's because they're sucking them out from the bottom side of the pile, and you can't see it. And next thing you know, the pile of cash getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Next thing you know, it's all gone. How are you going to withdraw money from your bank then? You know? And then the next step is, it's not their fault, by the way. It's not their fault. Even though they drawed all the cash out of the system, next thing you know, what little cash is left is being used in illicit transactions only. And then they say, oh, we got to do away with it all because it's only used for whatever. See, they might pull the same thing on cash as all this talk that they were talking about Bitcoin and the cryptos, you know, saying, oh, it's used for this and it's used for that. Well, they can make that situation if they want to. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.